This is getting way too meta. He's effectively actually collabing with me on a real stream. It's amusing too, because they had to have known when they made the title this time around how many of their players actually are streamers. From what I've seen, it'll be fine. So, if I win, can I take her stockings? See, that's where I differ. Arceus gameplay, I felt was definitely a step in the wrong direction, and made me not want to... It made me concerned that I wouldn't want to continue with the franchise. But I know that a lot of people have been asking for that, and so it's a popular direction for people to want the series to go. I, however, as an OG Pokemon player and a game designer of sorts myself, strongly disagree with that direction. But I also think that once you get people used to that kind of gameplay, it's harder to pull back away from it. Because once people have super easy Pokemon capturing, for instance, they don't want to go back to it feeling difficult. And I mean that in terms of people as like... That said, I'm also personally a believer that, you know, open world in general is the wrong direction for the franchise. I feel like it's just kind of something that they're being pushed towards because it's like one of the hot marketing buzzwords. And because a lot of people think that's where they want the franchise to go. But the reality is when you push something like Pokemon in that direction, this is the kind of thing you end up with. A part of the issue with doing Pokemon as an open world is that Pokemon already has a massive scope with the sheer number of Pokemon that need to be included in every game. I mean, even this one with a partial Pokédex, we're looking at, like, close to 400 Pokemon in the base Pokédex. And I don't know if you can unlock more later or not. That's a lot in terms of unique creatures and assets and everything that need to be maintained. When you add an open world environment on top of that, especially on really limited hardware like the Switch, you're just gonna run into development issues. And clearly they did. They really should have just delayed the game or selected a later launch date, but I'm sure they really wanted to hit that, you know, Christmas 2022 launch, and I mean, technically they did. The game is on shelves, but I think it'll be a couple of months before it's in any kind of decent shape for, you know, like maybe by the time kids are opening it on Christmas, they'll have actually worked out some of these major issues with post-game patches, but it's gonna take a little while. Or I should say post-launch patches, not post-game. Now, I know that was all very critical, but that's not to say that I hate the game. I mean, I'm here, I'm playing it, I'm, you know, 6 gym badges in. Just, I feel that we should expect better as customers, as loyal fans. Plus, when you really get down to it, open-world games are not actually open-world. They're just games that have very large areas for you to explore, but that doesn't mean that you're not constrained at all on your critical path. They're just using a few clever tricks to make it feel less constrained. I think, there's also a good argument that the state of this game speaks to the high probability that Nintendo was probably expected to have, even by its own developers, released an additional Switch SKU that had more processing power by now, and that just hasn't happened. We're sorry, Esther. The Pokemon Center only accepts people who look exactly identical to the people who work at every other Pokemon Center. You must be related to Nurse Joy in order to work at a Pokemon Center. That's the rules. If you want to see a good example of the direction Pokemon could have taken things that I feel would have been pretty successful, try checking out Monster Hunter Stories 2. It's also on Switch. It looks way better than this title did, even though it's, you know, a much lesser known offshoot of a different successful franchise. Has interesting turn-based JRPG combat, and it also has the kind of open world feel to it with large field areas. It turned the times that you do have to engage into combat into, you know, these really kind of epic boss feeling encounters, which I feel is probably a good way to go with this, if that's where the franchise wants to go, with having most of the more simple encounters being like auto battles and things like that. If you're gonna do that, you might as well have the actual battles that you do have to fight feel really epic. This man is a student. It says so in his introduction. Gotta be at least, what, mid-60s? This Psyduck is just glaring at me like, what are you doing to my child? Oh no! The fish attacked me with sushi? Seriously, this fish. What are we, like 20 Pokeballs in? Oh, critical hit, of course. Interesting. A, like, mirror thing going on here? Well, maybe this is like... have to unlock it? It seems to be water. But, like, I can't interact with it. Very strange. Wow, it's like they're not even trying. What am I up against here? Level 16! And it sent me to all these, like, level 50+ places and didn't recommend I come here? Come on, game! No wonder the level curve seems so off. Fighting babies here. Look at this baby. His baby! I mean, admittedly, it is pretty funny to make a Sudowoodo actually become a grass type. And I clearly did them all out of order at the game's suggestion. The game told me where to go, and it sent me all out of order to the, like, the strongest places first. Ridiculous. Yes, that was my last gym. That was gym number 8, with level 16 Pokemon. And what do you want to bet that these, 2 other things here are, like, super easy compared to the other stuff I did, too? This is my last Team Starbase and my last Titan. And they're probably all super easy, because this whole area seems to be super easy. In fact, had I headed east out of Mesa Goza, this would have been one of the first places I went to, which, of course this area is easy. It literally could have been one of my 2 starting zones. But did the game send me here to clear this stuff? No, it didn't. It said, go fight the toughest gym, and then come back and do the level 16 stuff later. Okay, so where do I get her outfit? I can lose the boots, but... Yeah, my attack missed. Okay. You know, I probably honestly could just use Water Gun and not have to worry about it missing. Wow. Okay, so... Dreadnought is so terrible that it's having... a tough time doing decent damage against a level 26. Of course. Why wouldn't that happen? Just why wouldn't it? I would definitely slay 5 Titans to save my sick pet. That's what I had to do. Wow! Way to ruin this moment with the cell phone in the dog's butt. Just a computer simulation? Did real dad go to get milk and never come back? Is that why I haven't seen him in person the whole time? Oh, is it going to be an all-EV team? That would be just the best. With their EV backpack. I think it might be. There's a certain implication in their dialogue there that Penny might be trans.
That's all for this episode. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe, or join me on Twitch or Twitter. Hope to see you next time on Yukikaze Gaming. Botany!